We'll tell you what one Alabama congressman is proposing.
Live in HD, this is Fox 6 News at 9.
Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Steve Crocker.
I'm Beth Shelburne, new at 9, surviving in a storm shelter.
We got in here about 5 minutes before the storm hit. We shut the door, and no later did we shut that door, the storm hit. And it was like not a freight train. It was glass just pounding on you, dirt flying in on you.
There are hundreds of stories like that one. People who say they survived one of the worst storms in history in a storm shelter.
And an Alabama lawmaker says survivors are living proof that the shelters work, and he says the state needs many, many more of them. Fox 6 News reporter Sharia Harris spoke with Congressman Spencer Bachus and survivors about the storm shelters and whether and where they should be built.
Sharia joins us now live from Pratt City. Sharia.
Well, Beth, Congressman Bachus says he would want those storm shelters built specifically in communities with trailers or low-income communities where people do not have basements. Congressman Bachus has written a letter to the governor about this, and he's spoken to FEMA officials. He's hoping to get those storm shelters built inside of schools. The old Scott School is where storm survivors come for donations. What's interesting is that many of the volunteers here are storm victims themselves, like Mildred Bennett.
The telegram post was cracking, and electrical, you had the electrical wires popping, and wind blowing at my windows.
Bennett had severe roof damage at her Pratt City home. She says it was a scary experience.
I wish I'd had a shelter for my whole family, you know, to be able to, if you can call it, being safe.
The death and destruction on April 27th have led to the push for the construction of storm shelters in Alabama. Congressman Spencer Bachus says it's a way to prevent injury and loss of life. He's hoping to use schools as the location for the community storm shelters.
The regulations have a lot of red tape about retrofitting an existing building, and we think that that shouldn't be the case, and I'm working with FEMA and state and federal agencies to allow retrofitting existing buildings or existing schools.
Bachus says communities with manufactured homes also need the storm shelters, but he says it's important for every city, town, or rural area to have them. Bachus is hoping to learn from the deadly tornadoes to be prepared and save lives in the event of a similar disaster.
As soon as the warning will come, we will all know just to leave our apartment complex and go to the storm, to the shelter. And that would just be such a blessing for all of us. We need that. We need that so bad in Pratt City.
And if you're wondering how the shelters will be paid for, well, Congressman Bachus has urged the governor to use hazard mitigation funds from FEMA to build them. And under the Tornado Shelters Act, there are community development block grant funds to get the storm shelters built in communities where there are manufactured homes. Live in Pratt City, Sharia Harris, Fox 6 News, on your side.
Sharia, thanks very much. Storm victims certainly have a lot on their minds these days, a lot to deal with as they move forward from the tornadoes in April.
And as the bulldozers clear away debris, one thing homeowners may not have considered is how the storm damage affects their property values and therefore their taxes. Fox 6 News video journalist Katie Herrera got some answers today.